how to start a career as a music composer for film and TV, working with Martin Short, and who really makes the best salmon. Burning questions we're going to answer today. My name is Mark Watson, and welcome to Cooking Backstage, where we cook with a special guest from the music industry. Our guest today is composer-producer Brian Pickett. Now, you may not know Brian's name, but I will guarantee you know his work. You'll just have to watch to see what I mean. It is very important to note that Brian does not work alone. He's got two creative business partners, James Chapple and Graeme Cornies, and together they make up Voodoo Highway Music Post. Brian and I met in college. We were in the same program, we were housemates for a couple of years, and we even played in the same band together. This is important to note because when two college buddies get together, there's a strange phenomenon that happens. Suddenly your maturity level immediately reverts to when you were in your early 20s. Which brings me to my next point. This episode has 3 parts. Part 1, Brian shows us his cedar board salmon and talks about his career. Part 2 is a very short segment where I show you my very awesome, incredible teriyaki salmon. And part 3 is where the college buddy thing kicks in and things go a little off the rails, but we sure had fun. Keep in mind this episode was filmed back in the fall when we were not in a lockdown. I was also very grateful to have Brian's wife, Megan Ward, on set operating a second camera. So basically, anything that you see in this episode that looks fantastic, that's Megan. Thank you again to our sponsor, High Performance Management Solutions. And it is important to point out that the owner of this company is Joe Daly, another guy that was in a band with Brian and I. Thank you, Joe. Please subscribe. It's one of the most important things you can do to help support us. We'd really appreciate it. And I want to thank you for watching because I know you have a few other choices out there. Thank you very much and enjoy. All right, here we are in Cooking Backstage with Brian Pickett. And what are we making today?
Today we're making my special cedar board salmon. I've been perfecting it for the last 10 years. And what can I say? It's the best in the business. Plus, I've started adding a nice dill sauce on the side, which I'm also very proud of.
Brian's special sauce.
Special sauce.
All right. Okay, well, let's get to this. All right, Brian, walk us through the ingredients.
Well, we have some locally purchased organic salmon from down the street in Dave's Fish Market in Aldershot. We've got these cedar board chunks, which you can get different thicknesses. I got the thinnest kind. And I only soaked it for about an hour. People often soak these for like 3 hours. I try to promote a little more burning because I like it a little charred and hard and crusty on the outside. To that end, we have some more chunks of salmon, which I'm going to put these in the barbecue. Oh, sorry, thank you. Chunks of cedar, which I'm going to throw these in the barbecue and try to get a little more smoke happening and a little more heat going.
Nice.
Olive oil. We're going to coat the salmon in olive oil. Once again, to promote a little bit of a nice crispy outer layer. And we're going to garnish it with thinly sliced red onion and some thinly sliced lemon. Then comes the dill sauce. For that we have some lemon juice, some fresh dill, minced up, and sour cream, of course. Zach's amazing maple mustard, which is my go-to, and if you haven't tried it, go out and get it. It'll change your life.
Step 1, what do we do?
Well, let's get the salmon going. We're going to get it all oiled up. We're going to do both sides, skin side too.
You've been trying to perfect this for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the mistakes you've made along the way?
Well, first mistake I made was that I would just light everything on fire, and I would go back in my house and not monitor it and come out and notice that half my backyard was on fire. Other big thing is the other extreme, which is where I overdo it, and salmon's just dry and flaky, and it just ruins it as well, which I've managed to, the meat thermometer made all the difference in that area code. We're going to get the barbecue up to, well, right now it's at 550, so we're going to let that cool down a bit. You ideally keep it around 400, and I don't know, this should take about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. So in the meantime, let's get these cedar boards going. And just try to have not too much overhang.
So I've never done this. Will these boards, they'll be burnt at the end of this?
A little bit. I reuse these quite a bit.
How many times?
I've been using the same ones for years sometimes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They get a little charred, and then they continue to char up a bit. But
I always thought it was a one and done kind of thing.
well, maybe some of the purists would do that. I'm really cheap, so maybe that's where it comes from. I try not to have them touching. You don't want them to affect each other. Take these and just try to cover them up. As best you can.
Do you do a flip at all at some point?
Nope, no flipping. I don't always garnish it, and oftentimes I'll just put it in without the lemon, as it kind of makes my kids not want to eat it. These ones over here, without for the kids, because we are eating this.
So you weren't one of the lucky guys in the industry when COVID hit, that you were down for, what, 2 weeks, and then I think things were back to normal somewhat?
Not really down at all. Certain aspects of our business were down, but not the writing of music, because we mostly do that from, oftentimes from home anyways.
Oh, so those are your cedar pieces that you're going to get burning?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is, I've never put 4 in. I usually put a couple in, so we're going to see how this works. Keep an eye on it and make sure there's not billowing smoke coming out of the back.
So, yeah, animation studios, they pivoted pretty quick.
Yeah, I'd say within a couple of weeks, that's what you're worried about. The music side is easy to do from home, but the animation side was very centralized, because you need massive computers and hard drives and all that stuff to animate properly. But within 2 weeks, I think they had figured out a process where everyone was working remotely, all the animators, and there's very little disruption in the animation industry, which I count my lucky stars.
What projects are you working on right now?
Right now we are working on season 5 of Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. It's a new show by the Fred Rogers people, Mr. Rogers. Created in his legacy with the same values. It's a great show. We're doing season 7 and 8 of Paw Patrol, writing songs for season 8, and scoring season 7. Season 3 of Total Drama Rama. It's actually the 8th. It's the 9th season of the Total Drama franchise, which is the first cartoon we ever started writing music for. We've been working on that one for 13 years. And
so do you get a finished product, then you put music to it, or how's that happening?
The first thing they do in animation is they record the voice and lay it all up. It's almost like a radio play. So you'll have the whole story voiced out by all the actors. They storyboard it. Could be really rough drawings just to show angles and story and how it's going to be told. And then sometimes we work to that. Sometimes we'll score entire episodes to Leicas. Just, it depends on timing. We had one show, we were doing the latest version of George of the Jungle, and they were trying to do 2 episodes a week. And we knew that wasn't going to be possible when it was actually being animated. So we actually scored the entire series. We're using the Leicas at our own time while we were waiting for the animation to be done.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, you work at whatever stage you got or whatever stage they have.
So a lot of people envy your job in the industry. You get to be at home and write songs. Obviously, it didn't start off that way. You guys have a great story of 3 of you moving into a studio and living there for years until you built up your business.
Absolutely. We started, and once again, I thank my lucky stars. We started when we were in our early 20s, writing music for TV shows, and, we weren't writing any music for TV shows back then. We were trying to get people to let us write music for their TV shows. But we were at that age where we could live off no money. And we did live at our studio for a year. And we just took whatever kind of work we could get. The reason we're called Voodoo Highway is because we envisioned ourselves, when we were 22, 23 years old, writing music for horror flicks. Writing music for kids shows just kind of happened. Funnily enough, it happened right around the time we started having kids. You kind of audition for everything, all the work you do, you audition for it, just like an actor would audition for a role. And we just kept winning these the kids shows and preschool shows, and we realized that we actually were pretty good at it, and we enjoyed it.
Let's back up even further of how you even get asked to audition. Is it you're developing relationships with music houses or directors?
Yes, for sure. And in our case, we met some people actually through the other side, the animation, the advertising, because we started out writing jingles. we were doing all the PlayStation Canada advertising for much of our first 5 years in business. And in that case, one of the music houses that we wrote a lot of music for called us up and said, "You want to try throwing your hat in the ring for a couple of cartoons?" So we did, and that was our first reel. And because we won those series, that's how we actually got Total Drama Island. Yeah, and then from that we just kind of had a little more confidence. So we got a little reel together, and we sent it to other animation houses, and we said, "We're new, we're young. We'd love to demo for your shows." And really, in their case, for most of them, it's no skin off their back to get you to audition for them. It doesn't. You don't charge. We don't make money with to audition. Sure, we're making the show right now. Get us a couple of theme song submissions. Maybe we'll pick yours. And that's how we broke in the old-fashioned way. Yeah, let's get the dill sauce going, and I want to point out where you've hit a good 400 on the barbecue, so we're going to try to keep it there. Just keep an eye on that. Start by throwing a little sour cream in there. 1 big teaspoon of that in there, and
So what were your ingredients, sir? How much?
Well, I don't know, usually a cup or 2 of sour cream, and a teaspoon of the mustard, and we're going to throw some lemon. I go really heavy on the lemon juice and dill, because you want that bold taste.
Now, when did you get into cooking? Because I don't remember you cooking anything in college.
Well,
at all,
except for craft dinner. The only way I cook is on the barbecue.
Someone wants to break into what you do. Where do they start?
Well, I have a lot of advice in that area code. Some of the advice is to learn to play. Learn to play as many instruments as you can. You don't need to be good at it. Learn how to produce your own music. You're not going to have someone recording and mixing your stuff. You have to do it yourself. If you're at college, go approach the film students. We did a student film for a pair of guys, and one of them is the head of production at CBC now. So you just never know where, especially film students, you never know where they're going to end up. You might be, this whole industry is built on relationships and loyalty. So my advice to anyone starting is to try to find your allies when you're younger, and just try to do as much work as you can. Don't get caught up in, they're not paying me enough money. Do as much work as you can for free or whatever, just to hone your craft.
One of my favorite gigs that you've ever gotten was the Kudo gig. You were the Kudo voice for a long time.
Yeah, that was in our ad days. They were looking for, a mnemonic, a little audio signature at the end of a commercial. You've heard a million, like the Rogers one is da-da-da-da. Oh wait, no, that's Intel. Hello Moto, that's a mnemonic. In this case, ours is just Kudo. And I recorded myself and auto-tuned myself and put that through, and out of probably about 300 potential mnemonics, they chose me doing a falsetto voice auto-tuned.
Yeah, and then you guys did a lot of work for Pizza and Windex.
Yeah, Pizza, Windex, and like I say, our one biggest client was Sony PlayStation. Probably did 100 commercials. We like that. We barely do any advertising now, and I kind of miss it because it's kind of a lot of fun. You're in and out of a gig within 1 or 2 weeks.
You've had the opportunity to record some great voices. James Earl Jones, Martin Short.
Martin Short was probably the highlight because he was singing our songs. We did some, songs and score for Cat in the Hat. Knows a lot about that. He's the voice of the cat. He happened to be up in Muskoka, so they got him to Deerhurst, and I was across the lake from Deerhurst. So they said, we've lined him up to record at a suite. Can you call in? And I said, I'm across the lake. So I canoed over there and recorded him singing our songs, and he was such a nice, gracious guy. And as a kid, I was all over Ed Grimley, and I loved SCTV, and so to me, it was surreal.
James Earl Jones, what did he come in the studio for?
That was back when I was at Manta, working in the dubbing room. I was just eating lunch, and he came down and sat down and ate lunch with me, and we watched TV together, and he was a very nice gentleman. I offered to change. I was like, do you want to watch something special? Because I was kind of blown away that he was sitting beside me, and he's like, no, whatever you would like to watch is fine. Such a nice professional gentleman. So here you can see this top right number, 133. We're aiming for 140. The internal temperature of the salmon. As you can see, it's nicely browned on the outside. That's what we want to see right there. A nice crispy outer level.
Another great project you're involved in is the Strumbellas.
Yeah, and that's that's fully nepotism at work. My wife's little brother is Simon, the lead singer and songwriter of the band. And I've been recording him, funnily enough, since he was 12 years old. I recorded his first song. So we've always had a shared love of music and music production. So I try to help with their albums as much as I can.
And you guys just live a couple of doors down from each other?
Yeah, we live on the same street. He lives 5 houses down, and so we show up at each other's house a lot. That's one of the fun things about working from home. They're not touring, and I'm not going to my office, so we'll show up at each other's place and play stuff for each other all the time.
So we're all set?
Yeah. We're gonna take this off.
Careful.
Yeah, this has gone wrong a few times for me.
Looks great, man.
I dumped $70 worth of salmon on the ground many a time. Well, we got some ungarnished over here and some garnished over here. We're going to take the lemon pieces off that because the juice has seeped through, and keep the onions on.
What's the official name of this?
This is Brian's Special Crusted Salmon. Yeah, let's stop there.
Let's just put more words in there.
Yeah, Brian's Special Crusted Salmon.
Love it. Oh, Brian's Crusty Salmon.
Crusty Salmon. Let's go with this. Yeah, Brian's Crusty Salmon.
Okay, very simple. Salmon from Dave's Fish Market, Atlantic salmon, teriyaki, sesame seeds. Simply drizzle teriyaki over the salmon, sesame seed, sprinkle it on the salmon. It's ready to go in the oven, 400 for 20 minutes. Okay, it's been 25 minutes. There we go, it's all done. And there you go, teriyaki salmon. So here we are in part 3. Now I had no intention of going in this direction when I asked Brian to be on the show, but then Brian said this.
I've been perfecting it for the last 10 years, and what can I say, it's the best in the business.
No, I can't just let that slide. The best in the business? For the integrity of the show, we have to make sure. So it's time that Watson and Pickett go head to head. This is going to be the first cook-off on Cooking Backstage. So one of the things I didn't think about is we need a judge for this competition.
Someone completely impartial.
Someone who eats on a regular basis.
Rochester Mike from Florida,
who lives in Burlington.
Rochester Mike. Rochester Mike.
All right, so here he is, Rochester Mike from Florida, living in Burlington.
Hello, y'all. We're gonna try these salmon and see. I was just explaining to the fellas that I love fish, but salmon is not my favorite, so I should be able to tell which one is the best right away. So here we go. I'll try the one on my right.
What are you thinking?
Thinking it's well cooked. Tastes just like a salmon should. I do like it. It's cooked perfectly. I'm gonna cleanse my palate. Look away. Salmon to my left. Much more tender salmon. You got the sauce to use on it. Better garnish. I'm going to the left.
Just like that?
This
maybe you
is
should
it.
try the other one again. Let's try the other one again.
The presentation is much better on here, which is more pleasing to the palate. I will go back this way.
Who cares what it looks like? It's what it tastes like.
Like I said, salmon's cooked perfectly. This one just has more flavor, more taste, more garnish, more pleasing to the eye. I do like both, but this would be what I'd make. It's just more, it has more flavor. I could have told you that when I sat down, but it was the way
you decided before you
No.
down.
I could doubt it was going to be the way it was cooked. Now his is a little more tender. I'd probably prefer it a more firm that way.
Can you say to the camera, I prefer it firm?
No.
But basically, you're saying you decided before you even sat down.
Visually.
3 wacky things about Canadian food since you moved here.
Milk in bags doesn't make sense to me, especially for recycling. I wish it was just in a gallon jug. When it's empty, throw in the recycle bin. Green coleslaw, never seen it before in my life. Has no consistency, it's all mush. Kentucky Fried Chicken in Canada, no biscuits. First time I came here and ordered a biscuit with my 3-piece, they looked at me like I was crazy. They said, we have French fries. Dairy Queen in Canada, no chocolate ice cream. What kind of ice cream franchise doesn't serve chocolate ice cream? Doesn't make sense. I lost a huge argument to my wife about this and it still pisses me off. Don't know if I'm supposed to swear. It really aggravates me. Go Bills, go.
Going on, Zeus.
Eat it.
What?